the custodian who knew too much. When Maya Rodriguez walked into the pristine headquarters of Quantum Dynamics with her mop and cart, not a soul suspected she held the key to saving the company from its greatest crisis. Behind her unassuming smile lay a mind that could unravel the very equations that had stumped their so-called geniuses for months. But in a world of pressed suits and prestigious degrees, who would ever listen to the woman who emptied their trash? Before we dive into the story, comment below where in the world you're watching from. The polished marble floors of Quantum Dynamics headquarters reflected the morning sunlight as Maya Rodriguez pushed her cleaning cart through the lobby. Unlike the hurried executives rushing past with lattes and briefcases, Maya moved methodically, observing everything with quiet attention. "Morning, Stan," she called to the security guard. "Hey, Maya," he waved cheerfully. "Ready for another exciting day of keeping QD spotless?" She smiled. "Someone's got to do it." What Stan didn't know, what nobody knew, was that Maya possessed a PhD in theoretical physics from MIT. 5 years ago, she'd been on track to revolutionize quantum computing, before a family crisis derailed everything. Her mother's illness had drained her savings and pulled her back to her hometown, when the only job available was cleaning the very company she'd once dreamed of working for. Irony had a good laugh at her expense. Maya pushed her cart toward the elevators, glancing at her watch. If she timed it right, she could clean the main research lab during the morning meeting. The lead scientists always left their whiteboards covered in equations, and Maya had grown addicted to secretly tracking their progress. The elevator doors opened, revealing Dr. Victor Harlow, the company's arrogant research director. "Hold the door," he commanded without looking up from his tablet. Maya obediently pressed the button, shrinking against her cart as he stepped in, his expensive cologne filling the small space. "Fourth floor," he said, still not looking at her. "Yes, sir," Maya replied softly, although she'd already pressed the button. Victor glanced up, registering Maya's presence with mild surprise. "Oh, you're going up? To clean?" He frowned, checking his watch. "The research department has an emergency meeting in 20 minutes. Can't this wait?" "I'll be quick, Dr. Harlow," Maya promised. "Just emptying trash bins." He sighed dramatically. "Fine, but stay away from the main conference room. The board members are arriving soon." The elevator opened, and Victor strode out without another word. Maya followed quietly, her cart's wheels squeaking slightly against the polished floor. The fourth floor housed Quantum Dynamics' most valuable asset, their research division. Through the glass walls, Maya could see scientists hunched over computers or gesturing animatedly at whiteboards. Their current project, developing a revolutionary quantum encryption algorithm, had fallen behind schedule, creating palpable tension throughout the company. Maya worked methodically, emptying trash bins while eavesdropping on fragments of conversation. "The Heisenberg matrix application isn't working," one researcher muttered to another. "We've hit another dead end. Harlow's breathing down our necks." "But the quantum signature keeps collapsing during the third verification phase," his colleague replied. Maya's fingers twitched. She knew exactly why their approach was failing. As she neared the main lab, she noticed a whiteboard covered in equations. The solution was elegant but flawed. They'd missed a critical transformation in the final calculation sequence. Without thinking, Maya glanced around, confirmed she was alone, and grabbed a marker. 3 quick adjustments. That's all it would take. "What do you think you're doing?" The sharp voice made Maya jump. Dr. Eliza Wong, the deputy research director, stood in the doorway, eyes narrowed suspiciously. Maya dropped the marker, Sorry, ma'am. I was just cleaning the board. With more equations, Eliza approached, scanning the whiteboard. Step away from there. That's confidential research. Of course, I'm sorry, Maya mumbled, backing toward her cart. Eliza picked up her phone. Security? I need someone on the 4th floor, now. Maya hurried toward the elevators, her heart pounding. This wasn't the first time her knowledge had nearly exposed her, but it was definitely the closest call. Behind her, she heard Dr. Wong speaking urgently into her phone. Yes, the cleaning woman was writing on our research boards. No, I don't know what she wrote. That's the problem. The elevator doors opened, revealing Stan, the security guard. Everything okay, Dr. Wong? He asked, stepping out. This woman was interfering with classified research, Eliza said, pointing at Maya. I want her questioned. Stan's friendly face transformed into professional concern. Maya, is that true? I wasn't interfering, Maya said quietly. The board needed cleaning, that's all. Victor Harlow appeared in the hallway, drawn by the commotion. What's happening here? Your janitor was writing on our quantum encryption formulas, Eliza explained, gesturing toward the whiteboard. Victor approached the board, scanning it with growing intensity. He turned slowly, staring at Maya with new interest. Where did you learn this? He demanded, pointing to the modifications she'd made. Maya clutched her cart handle. I don't know what you mean. This correction, Victor insisted, tapping the board. This wasn't here yesterday. Perhaps one of your team members added it this morning, Maya suggested, trying to keep her voice steady. No, Victor said, pulling out his phone. I took photos of everything last night. This is new. He stepped closer, his voice dropping. And it's correct. The silence that followed felt suffocating. How would you know it's correct? Eliza asked him. We haven't solved this part yet. Victor ignored her, focusing entirely on Maya. Who are you really? Maya swallowed hard. 5 years of anonymity threatened to collapse around her. She had built this simple life for a reason. Exposure meant questions, attention, complications she couldn't afford with her mother's condition still so fragile. I'm just the cleaning lady, she said firmly, and I'm very behind schedule. Everyone gathered in the main conference room, including the board members who had arrived for the emergency meeting. Maya sat uncomfortably at the end of the conference table, her cleaning uniform out of place among tailored suits. Explain how you knew to make these corrections, Victor demanded, displaying the whiteboard equations on the room's main screen. Maya remained silent, eyes down. This isn't just random scribbling, Victor continued. These adjustments specifically address the quantum collapse issue we've been struggling with for months. CEO Richard Patton leaned forward. Miss Rodriguez, industrial espionage is a serious crime. If you're working for a competitor... I'm not, Maya interrupted. I just noticed a mathematical inconsistency. Eliza laughed sharply. A janitor noticed a mathematical inconsistency in advanced quantum theory? It's a simple application error, Maya said quietly. Your Hamiltonian operator isn't accounting for the non-locality of entangled particles during measurement. The room fell silent. That's surprisingly specific terminology for someone who cleans floors, Victor said slowly. Maybe she memorized it from somewhere, Eliza suggested. Someone must be feeding her information. Richard sighed. Security, please escort Miss Rodriguez to my office. We'll continue this discussion privately. As Maya was let out, she caught the suspicious glances from the researchers. Years of careful anonymity destroyed by one moment of carelessness. In Richard's office, the CEO studied her with penetrating eyes. Your employee file says you have a high school education and no specialized training, he noted. Yet you just demonstrated doctoral-level understanding of quantum physics. Care to explain? Maya's shoulders slumped. MIT, 2011. PhD in theoretical physics with focus on quantum computation. Richard's eyebrows rose. Dr. Maya Rodriguez? The same Maya Rodriguez who published groundbreaking work on quantum coherence before disappearing from academia? She nodded reluctantly. Why are you working as a janitor at Quantum Dynamics? My mother got sick. I needed to come home. Needed steady work with health insurance, Maya explained. By the time she stabilized, years had passed. The academic world moves on quickly. But why hide your credentials? Richard pressed. We would have hired you as a researcher in a heartbeat. Some things are more important than professional recognition, Maya said simply. My anonymity protected what matters most to me. The board meeting dissolved into chaos following Maya's revelation. Richard ordered everyone to clear the room except for Victor, Eliza, and Maya. I've confirmed her identity, Richard announced, turning his laptop to show Maya's academic profile. Dr. Maya Rodriguez graduated top of her class at MIT. Her dissertation on quantum coherence measurements is still cited as groundbreaking work. Victor's face flushed. Why didn't you tell us who you were? Would you have believed me? Maya asked quietly, the cleaning lady claiming to be a quantum physicist. We need to discuss what happens next, Richard said. Our encryption project is 6 months behind schedule, and we're losing investor confidence. Maya, what would it take to bring you on as a consultant? Maya hesitated. My situation is complicated. My mother requires specialized care. I can't commit to full-time hours. Name your terms, Richard replied. Flexible schedule, remote work options, whatever you need. Eliza crossed her arms. This is ridiculous. We can't just hire the janitor because she scribbled some equations. Dr. Wong, Richard said sharply. Those scribbles potentially solve the problem your team has been stuck on for months. Victor cleared his throat. I've reviewed her corrections more carefully. They're elegant. If they work, they'll completely resolve our quantum collapse issue. I propose a test, Maya said, finding her voice. Give me access to your simulation software. If my approach fails, I'll resign from the company entirely. If it works, we negotiate terms that accommodate my family responsibilities. Richard smiled. Deal. Victor, set Dr. Rodriguez up with everything she needs. As they left the office, Eliza brushed past Maya. Don't get comfortable in the research department. Not everyone is impressed by parlor tricks. Maya watched her go, then turned to Victor. The simulation will take approximately 4 hours to run. I can finish my cleaning rounds while we wait. Victor blinked in surprise. You don't have to clean anymore. Today's shift is already paid for, Maya replied pragmatically, and the 4th floor still needs vacuuming. The lab hummed with nervous energy as Maya's fingers flew across the keyboard. She'd spent the last 3 hours refining algorithms while researchers watched with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Your approach contradicts established quantum encryption principles, Dr. Wong stated, hovering behind Maya's chair. Not contradicts, extends, Maya replied without looking up. The traditional model assumes linear progression through verification phases, but quantum states don't operate linearly. Victor leaned closer to the screen. You're suggesting a multi-dimensional verification matrix? Exactly. Instead of forcing sequential verification, we allow simultaneous state confirmation across all potential outcomes. The simulation program beeped, displaying a complex visualization of interacting quantum signatures. It's holding stable through the 3rd phase, someone whispered. Maya held her breath as the simulation progressed to the critical 4th phase, where their previous attempts had invariably collapsed. The progress bar inched forward. 83%, 87%, 91%. Victor's hand gripped the back of Maya's chair. 98%, 99%, 100%. The screen flashed green. Simulation complete. Quantum signature stable across all verification phases. Stunned silence fell over the lab. It worked, Victor breathed. She actually did it. Maya's shoulders relaxed slightly. The approach needs refinement, but the fundamental concept is sound. This is just a simulation, Eliza interjected, arms crossed defensively. Real-world implementation could fail for countless reasons. Then let's test it, Maya challenged, meeting Eliza's gaze directly. Your quantum processor is capable of running a scaled implementation, isn't it? Richard, who had been silently observing from the doorway, stepped forward. Make the necessary preparations. If Dr. Rodriguez's solution works in practice as well as theory, we've just salvaged both the project and the company's future. The lab fell silent as Maya input the final commands for the real-world test. Everyone watched the large monitor displaying the quantum encryption process. Each researcher understood the stakes, their jobs, the company's future, and potentially the entire field of quantum security hung in the balance. Initiating sequence, Maya announced, her voice steadier than she felt. The progression bar crawled forward. Unlike the simulation, real quantum states were notoriously unpredictable. Phase 1 verification complete, Victor narrated, unable to hide his excitement. Eliza stood with arms crossed, her expression unreadable. Let's not celebrate prematurely. Phase 2 stable, Maya continued, monitoring the fluctuating values. Transitioning to Phase 3. This was where their previous attempts had failed. The quantum states would destabilize, making the encryption vulnerable. Holding at Phase 3, Victor breathed. My God, it's actually maintaining coherence. Richard stepped closer to the screen. How much longer? Approximately 40 seconds to complete Phase 4, Maya replied, unconsciously holding her breath. The room grew impossibly quiet as the progress bar inched forward. Maya caught herself chewing her lower lip, a nervous habit from her MIT days. 30 seconds, she whispered. Victor's hand found her shoulder, squeezing in silent support. The quantum processor hummed steadily in its climate-controlled chamber. 20 seconds. Eliza moved closer, her scientific curiosity finally overcoming her skepticism. 10 seconds. Maya's hands trembled slightly over the keyboard. Phase 4 complete. Encryption protocol stabilized. The monitor flashed with confirmed results. For several heartbeats, nobody spoke. Then the lab erupted in cheers. Researchers hugged each other, some wiping away tears of relief. Victor pulled Maya from her chair into an awkward embrace. You did it! You actually did it! He exclaimed. Only Eliza remained composed, though her tight expression had softened. She approached Maya as the celebration continued around them. Impressive work, she admitted quietly. I apologize for my skepticism. Richard called for attention, holding up his hands until the room quieted. Dr. Rodriguez, you've just saved the $2 billion project, he announced. I'd like to offer you an official position as our quantum research director, effective immediately. Maya's face flushed hot. She glanced at Victor, whose momentary surprise quickly transformed into a genuine smile. I can't accept that, Maya stammered, her voice barely audible over the murmurs that filled the room. Victor has led this team through everything. He deserves... Co-directors, Victor interrupted, extending his hand to Maya. Your brilliance combined with my management experience. Together, we could revolutionize the entire field. Maya's hands trembled as she accepted his handshake. But my mother... We'll arrange the best home health care available, Richard assured her. Full benefits, flexible hours, whatever you need. Tears welled in Maya's eyes. For 5 years, she'd buried her passion, convinced that sacrifice was her only option. Now, suddenly, possibilities stretched before her again. "I need time to think," she whispered. "Of course," Richard nodded. "But first, there's something else to address." He turned to the assembled team, his expression growing serious. "Today has taught us an invaluable lesson about assumptions and overlooked potential. Maya was invisible to most of us because of her uniform, not her capabilities. I want everyone to consider how many other voices we might be ignoring." Researchers shifted uncomfortably, several avoiding eye contact. Starting today, Quantum Dynamics implements an anonymous submission system for research ideas. Anyone, from security guards to executives, can contribute. Maya felt something tight inside her chest begin to unravel. The simple acknowledgement meant more than any job title. The buzz around Quantum Dynamics' breakthrough dominated industry news for weeks. Maya found herself adjusting to a completely different life, moving from invisible maintenance worker to celebrated scientist virtually overnight. 6 months later, she stood in her new office, staring at framed articles about the janitor genius who revolutionized quantum encryption. The nickname made her cringe, but Richard insisted it inspired people. "Ready for the investor presentation?" Victor asked, appearing at her doorway. Maya straightened her blazer, still uncomfortable in business attire. "As I'll ever be. They're practically throwing money at us," Victor grinned. "Your algorithm has applications we hadn't even considered." Together they walked toward the conference room, passing the cleaning staff working in the hallway. Maya stopped to greet each person by name. "Dr. Rodriguez," called a voice behind them. Eliza hurried to catch up, tablet in hand. The past few months had transformed their relationship from antagonistic to genuinely collaborative. "I've reviewed the presentation. Your technical sections are perfect, but maybe simplify slide 12 for the non-scientists." "Good catch," Maya nodded. The boardroom was packed with investors and media. As Maya entered, conversations hushed. Richard welcomed everyone, then introduced Maya. Standing at the podium, she scanned familiar and unfamiliar faces. Her mother sat in the front row, beaming with pride. "6 months ago, I pushed a cleaning cart through these halls," Maya began. "Today, I lead a research division developing technology that will transform data security forever." She paused, making eye contact with Stan, the security guard, who'd taken her up on the anonymous submission program with his own innovative idea. But the real breakthrough at Quantum Dynamics isn't just technological. It's recognizing that brilliant minds exist everywhere, not just where we expect to find them. The room erupted in applause. As Maya continued her presentation, she noticed a young woman in maintenance uniform watching intently from the doorway, taking notes. Maya smiled. The circle was beginning to complete itself. Sometimes our greatest limiting factor isn't our capability, but our belief in what's possible. Maya's journey from anonymity to recognition wasn't just about quantum physics. It was about quantum leaps of faith. The algorithms she created would protect data for generations. But her greatest contribution was proving that brilliance doesn't require credentials to exist, only opportunity to be revealed. 6 months after her revelation, Quantum Dynamics implemented the Rodriguez Initiative, a company-wide program identifying overlooked talent in unexpected places. 3 maintenance workers, a security guard, and a cafeteria cook had already moved into technical roles. Maya's mother, now receiving the best care available, often reminded her, "You were never truly invisible. You just weren't standing where they were looking. Sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply refusing to remain unseen. The world doesn't lack brilliant minds. It lacks the vision to recognize them wherever they appear.